It was a good year for film, and it was a bad year for film. Here are the 36th annual Razzie nominations.
I told him I wanted subtle entrance music. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Magicopolis. I'm John Wilson, the founder of the Golden Raspberry Award Foundation. Tonight, we will share the news Hollywood dreads most, the nominations for this year's 32nd Annual Razzie Awards. Assisting me in presenting this year's contenders is the ever-effervescent Miss Kelly McIver.
Hello, everybody. What say we get going with the business of making every movie maker's night. Meh.
Each of tonight's nominees will be accompanied by an actual critic's quote gleaned from one of our favorite websites, RottenTomatoes.com. I can't tell where the Rotten Tomatoes group is.
The 2011 nominees for Worst Performance by an Actress in a Supporting Role are snagging her third Razzie nomination.
And who knows, she could be third time unlucky.
Playing Mrs. Adam Sandler in Jack and Jill, Katie Holmes.
Chris Tookie, London Daily Mail.
The first of several nominees this year that are literally
a drag.
As the never-lovely Charmaine in
Big Mamas Like Father Like Son, Brandon T. Jackson.
You'll be tempted to set off the fire alarm in your multiplex just to end the pain.
John McCarthy, Box Office Magazine.
A previous Oscar winner,
who is also a previous Razzie winner,
nominated for Just Go With It,
Nicole Kidman.
No other actress can suck the comedy out of a movie more effectively than she can.
Jim Slocum, jammovies.com.
Playing a schoolyard bully named Monica,
who is, if possible, even less lovely than Charmaine,
from Jack and Jill, David Spade.
So many different shades of wrong that I don't even want to talk about it.
Tim Martain, the Sydney Mercury News.
And lastly, replacing the irreplaceable
Megan Fox,
making her screen debut,
such as it was,
in Transformers 3, Dark of the Moon.
The actress listed on our Razzie nominating ballot as the underwear model,
a.k.a. Rosie Huntington-Whiteley.
She makes Megan Fox look like Meryl Streep.
Tom Cherry, CNN.
For the worst performance by an actor in a supporting role,
we have,
best known as Dr. Dreamy on Grey's Anatomy,
now a Razzie nominee as a screamy, bilious billionaire in
Transformers 3, Dark of the Moon, Patrick Dempsey.
As usual, he plays a total idiot.
Bob Grimm, Tucson Weekly.
A Best Actor Oscar nominee last year.
Better luck next year, buddy.
The co-star of Your Highness, James Franco.
As lifeless here as he was hosting the Academy Awards.
Greg Mackey, the Easton, Maryland Star Democrat.
Giving 4 indelible,
or is that inedible,
performances in 4 of last year's very worst movies.
Nominated for
Big Mamas Like Father Like Son,
The Hangover 2,
Transformers 3, Dark of the Moon, and
Zookeeper,
Ken Jeong.
Note to Ken?
Yelling doesn't make a line funnier.
Leonard Malcolm, IndieWire.com.
One of the great actors of our time.
Giving one of the most grating performances of all time.
We sincerely hope he was paid a lot of money
to play a character named Al Pacino in Jack and Jill.
Al Pacino.
Unforgivably, soul-destroyingly bad.
Sean Monroe, What? Culture.com.
And one of Adam Sandler's best buds.
Perpetually cast in Adam Sandler movies as
one of Adam Sandler's best buds.
And nominated for a Razzie as
one of Adam Sandler's best buds in both Jack and Jill
and Just Go With It, Nick Swardson.
Accomplishes the unthinkable feat of being more annoying than Rob Schneider. James Berardinelli,
RealReviews.com.
That's true, that's quite a feat. Our next category is all about chemistry.
Well, technically it's about lack of chemistry.
Well, the nominees for Worst Screen Couple.
First, we've got Nicolas Cage.
And any actor or actress unfortunate enough to share the screen with him.
In any one of his 3 films for 2001.
And those 3 films are... Who cares?
Cage performs with the conviction that comes from a long experience in bad movies.
And the other actors seem equally uninterested.
Eric Malcolm, London Evening Standard.
Shia LaBeouf.
And that underwear model again.
In Trannies, number 3.
2 graduates of the Ants in Your Pants School of Acting.
Tirdad Derekshani, Philadelphia Inquirer.
With his first nomination of the evening.
And I bet it won't be his last.
Adam Sandler. And either
Jennifer Aniston
or Brooklyn Decker in
Just Go With It.
Beyond Stupid.
Richard Roper, Reel's Channel. And next, embodying the very concept of the term,
Razzie repeat offender,
Adam Sandler again.
This time with either
Katie Holmes,
Al Pacino, or
Adam Sandler.
In the Twitty Twin comedy Jack and Jill.
In this instance, seeing double is not only trouble, it's a fate worse than death.
Adam Tobias, WDTimes.com.
And 3 more Razzie repeat offenders.
Whose undying love gives 13-year-olds everywhere hope.
Kristen Stewart and either
Taylor, can I get a woof woof Lautner?
Or Robert Look at Me Sparkle Pattinson in
Twilight Saga 4 Breaking Dawn Part 1.
Just about the dullest menage a trois that ever faced a movie camera.
Jim Lane, Sacramento News Review.
for the worst achievement in motion picture direction.
And we are using the term direction very loosely here.
The 5 finalists are
directing the sequel
to something he won Worst Director for 2 years ago,
Michael Bay for Transformers 3, It's Dark on the Moon.
It takes real talent to create as much action as he does without generating even an ounce of excitement.
John J. Puccio, MovieMetropolis.com.
A man who fumbled the ball here.
Just as badly as that football player with the same name fumbled the ball at the Super Bowl, Tom Brady.
For Bucky Larson, Born to be a Star.
His god-awful, unfunny, stinkingly putrid movie stands alone as the most moronic comedy in ages.
Joe Nye-Man, New York Daily News.
Joe didn't care for it. A 2-time Oscar nominee.
Now a first-time Razzie nominee, Bill Condon.
For Twilight Saga 4, Bella's water just broke.
He gives the series fans exactly what they want. Uneven storytelling, maudlin dialogue, and decidedly one-note performances.
Mike Scott, New Orleans Times-Picayune.
The mastermind behind
2 of 2011's most critically reviled
but Razzie-revered titles of 2011.
Dennis Dugan.
For both Jack and Jill and
Just Go With It.
He directs with all the skill of a blind parking lot attendant.
New York Post.
A man who spells his first name with 2 R's?
Could that second R maybe stand for Razzies?
Gary Marshall for New Year's Eve.
In his sticky hands, the result is more like the Love Boat than Love Actually.
Jim Slotek, jammovies.com.
Next, we have a new category for this year.
Worst Screen Ensemble, dishonoring the entire cast of each film nominated.
And the casts our voting members cast aspersions on include
the entire cast of Bucky Larson, Born to be a Star.
Everyone should hang their heads in shame for taking part in this dud.
Jackie K. Cooper, JackieKCooper.com.
The entire cast of
Jack and
and Jill.
Oh, sorry.
Swear to God.
Some of their lines are so horrible and horribly delivered that I actually thought I was suffering a stroke.
Kevin Carr, 7mPictures.com.
The entire cast of
New Year's
Eve.
As Winston Churchill might have said, never have so many done so little for so few, and with such dreary results.
Andrew L. Urban, urbancinephile.com.
The entire cast of Transformers 3 Dark of the Moon.
Don't worry about remembering any of the characters. The movie certainly doesn't.
Liam Lacey, Toronto Globe and Mail.
And the entire cast of
Twilight Saga 4 Breaking Dawn Part 1.
Lots of pale, pretty people stare off into space, while lots of other pale, pretty people whine on the soundtrack.
Stephen Lee, Newark Star Ledger.
For the worst achievement in Xerox copying, worst remake, ripoff, or sequel,
the 5 not even remotely original nominees are
a dull remake of a multiple Oscar winner from 1981, Arthur.
A spectacularly grating remake. Even the miserable Razzie-winning Arthur 2 on the Rocks was better than this monstrosity.
David Edelstein, New York Magazine.
not quite remaking,
but still blatantly ripping off
both Boogie Nights
and A Star is Born.
Maybe they should have called it A Star is Porn?
Bucky Larson, Born to be a Star.
An inverse version of Boogie Nights. Icky and repellent in ways it probably did not intend to be.
Great for Guzman, Newsday.
A follow-up to 2009's biggest grossing comedy hit,
which managed at one and the same time to be both a sequel
and a scene-for-scene remake, The Hangover 2.
I wouldn't say it's a carbon copy of the original, but only because nobody knows what carbon paper is anymore. Don't make the Wall Street Journal.
A movie that may have been a remake and a ripoff by accident.
I mean, seriously, who would deliberately set out to remake Ed Wood's classic cross-dressing film classic, Glenn or Glenda?
Perhaps the people who made Jack and Jill.
Guess what's playing on every screen for all eternity in movie critics' hell? Jack and Jill.
James Burnett, The Boston Herald.
And a film that took the final book in a series of novels.
And tore it in half,
telling only half the story while still providing fully
half the entertainment.
Twilight Saga 4, Breaking Dawn Part 1.
Tedious and toothless, it feels more like an SNL spoof than a proper continuation of the series.
Lori Hoffman, Atlantic City Weekly.
Is a film's rating from the critics at Rotten Tomatoes. At this time, we would like to introduce a special guest star, here now to share with us RT's bottom 10 worst reviewed movies list for 2011. Please welcome Rotten Tomatoes Editor-in-Chief, Mr. Matt Atchity.
I'm Matt Atchity, Editor-in-Chief of Rotten Tomatoes. I'd like to, first of all, say that I'm very honored to be here. The Razzies have inspired the very creation of Rotten Tomatoes. We get to do all year what you guys get to do tonight. Or a little bit, but a little bit. So the worst reviewed films of 2011 are, and believe me, there's some stinkers here. Number 10, Atlas Shrugged Part 1, 11%. With 45 reviews. Number 9, Trespass, 10% with 67 reviews. Number 8, Season of the Witch, 10% with 111 reviews. Number 7, Dream House, 7% with 75 reviews. Number 6, New Year's Eve, 8% with 127 reviews. Number 5, Big Mamas, Like Father, Like Son, 5% with 59 reviews. Number 4, The Roommate, 4% with 82 reviews. Number 3, Abduction, 4% with 95 reviews. Number 2, Jack and Jill, 3% with 98 reviews. And number 1, worst reviewed film of 2011, Bucky Larson, Born to Be a Star. 0% with 35 reviews. Thank you very much.
Not surprisingly, you've been hearing many of those titles throughout this press conference.
And now back to the nominations.
It all begins
with a written page.
And every written page of every nominee in this next category,
Worst Screenplay, cries out
for a paper shredder. The nominated screenplays are
Bucky Larson, Born to Be a Star, written by Adam Sandler, Alan Covert, and Nick Swardson.
We fade up on a room full of nerdy, pimply-faced teenage boys about to watch a 1970s Super 8 porno one of them has just found. As the group discusses what they plan to do while watching the porno, they are shocked to discover that Bucky, played by Nick Swardson, has never masturbated. One of them encourages Bucky to seize the opportunity, saying,
I take every chance I get to slap my flapjacks, munch my lunch, work my homework, beat my dinner meat.
And that got a 0?
Returning from a late...
Jack and Jill. Screenplay by Steve Coren and Adam Sandler. Story by...
That was a story?
Ben Zook.
Game. Fraternal twins Jack and Jill Sadelstein, both played by Adam Sandler, discuss how to respond to the fact that during the game, Al Pacino, yes, the Al Pacino, sent a hot dog to Jill with his phone number written on it in ketchup. Jill speaks.
We both know all he wants to do is play Twister with your sister.
New Year's Eve.
Written by Catherine Fugate, or maybe that's Fugate?
Among the crowd of black revelers in Times Square on New Year's Eve is a couple who recently broke up. When she recognizes Jensen, played by John Bon Jovi, Laura, played by Katherine Heigl, goes with the spirit of the moment and slaps him hard across the face. Shocked by what she's done, Laura speaks and inadvertently expresses what everyone who paid to see this movie also felt.
That wasn't nearly as satisfying as I thought it would be.
Twilight Saga 4, Breaking Dawn, Part 1.
Screenplay by Melissa Rosenberg.
Based on the first half of the novel by Stephanie Meyer.
Returning from what seems like a 2-year honeymoon on a remote island, Edward the Sparkly Vampire, played by Robert Pattinson, and Bella the Whiny Goth Girl, played by Kristen Stewart, encounter Jacob, the often shirt-free werewolf, played by Taylor Lautner, for the first time since their wedding. As one of Edward's siblings steps aside, Jacob sees that Bella is visibly pregnant. In a rage, he lunges across the room to strangle Edward, yelling, "No, get this!"
Sounded just like Taylor Lautner. Transformers 3, Dark of the Moon. Written by Aaron Kruger, who is already a Razzie winner
for co-writing the second film in this series.
City of Chicago lays in ruins. Several skyscrapers toppled by giant mechanical space worms that eat through buildings. Awakening in the rubble, Sam Witwicky, played by Shia LaBeouf, sees that his favorite Transformer has been seriously injured. Sam yells, "Optimus!"
And now... And now, we're down to the 3 very biggest categories.
For the worst performance by an actor
in a leading role,
the nominees are botching a role that brought Dudley Moore an Oscar nomination as Best Actor, Russell Brand
in and as Arthur.
A career-killing performance,
David Edelstein, New York Magazine.
For 3 roles he seems to have accepted.
At the insistence of the Internal Revenue Service.
He starred,
but didn't actually act in
Drive Angry 3D,
Season of the Witch,
and Trespass.
A 1-time Oscar winner.
Now a 4-time Razzie nominee, Nicolas Cage.
He's fallen so far from the A-list that he provokes a demand for new letters of the alphabet.
Kyle Smith, New York Post.
Another other award winner. He won the prestigious
Kids' Choice Award for Favorite Kiss.
A teenager's heartthrob who always does his best acting
with his shirt off. And the star of Abduction
and Twilight Saga 4, Breaking Wind, Part 1, Taylor Lautner.
This dude is so wooden, it's like watching Pinocchio with abs. Steve Newell, Flicks.com Museum.
Another actor cast in a title role.
This one playing a Minnesota moron.
Who heads to Hollywood for a career as a porn star.
And where the Razzies are concerned, the actor who played Bucky Larson
should never be a star. Nick Swardson.
His acting may make you long for Pauly Shore's Razzie-winning work in Jury Duty or Biodome.
Frank Switek, OneGuy'sOpinion.com.
And our 1999 winner in this Barry category.
This is his 7th nomination for Worst Actor.
And this year he was eligible for 2 doofy movies.
Jack and Jill.
And just go with it.
Adam Sandler.
I can think of no actor, not even Nicolas Cage, who presumes the lowest common denominator to be quite so low. He may be a star, but he comes off as
a prick.
Christopher Orr, The Atlantic.
And now it's the ladies' turn.
The nominees for Worst Performance by an Actress?
In a leading or, in some of these cases, misleading role, the nominees are
donning a Woolworth dress and a thrift shop wig for a 3rd time.
Playing the title role of Big Mama in
Big Mama's Like Father Like Son.
The 1995 Show West, Star of Tomorrow.
Sometimes, sadly, tomorrow never comes. Martin Lawrence.
The stuff of nausea, not nuttiness.
Bill Gibran, filmcritic.com.
The woman who walked out halfway through production on
Caribou Barbie, The Governor is a Lady, and Gone Rogue.
Previously nominated for Vice President of the United States.
Taking time out from playing herself on a U.S. history mangling bus tour
to star as herself in the not ironically entitled documentary
The Undefeated,
Sarah Palin.
So outlandishly partisan, she makes Richard Nixon look like Abraham Lincoln.
Kyle Smith, New York Post.
Next, the winner in this category last year,
along with her bevy of Sex and the City gal pals.
And this year she's contending all by her little old lonesome self.
Nominated for I Don't Know How or Why She Does It.
And New Year's Eve, Sarah Jessica Parker.
Her I Can Do It All kookiness act has worn as thin as the heel on a pair of Jimmy Choos.
Haley Kaufman, The Boston Globe.
Another Razzie repeat offender.
This is her 2nd time in this category.
That glum goth gal who's played goalie for both Team Jacob
and Team Edward.
Nominated for Twilight Saga 4 Breaking Down, Part 1,
Kristyn Stewart.
You'd think by now she could play the part in her sleep, and at times you suspect she might be.
Frank Switek, OneGuy'sOpinion.com.
And giving a performance reminiscent of Tootsie.
If Tootsie had starred Chuck Norris in the title role.
Copping a near-record 9th Razzie nomination for acting.
But a first-time contender in this particular category.
Playing the ultra-shrill Jill in Jack and Jill, Adam Sandler.
So awful and exaggerated,
she
makes the sound of fingernails scraping a blackboard seem welcome.
Adam Tobias, WDTimes.com.
We thought we should point out that
should Adam Sandler manage to win in this category
and decide to follow in the hallowed footsteps of
Halle Berry in Catwoman
and Sandra Bullock in All About Steve,
Adam Sandler could be the first Razzie winner
to literally have the balls
to accept a Worst Actress Razzie Award. And finally, we are pleased to announce the nominees for
Worst Picture of the Year. The 5 films chosen by our voting members as 2011's very worst achievements in film are Nominated for 6 Razzies.
From Sony Columbia Pictures and Happy Madison Productions.
Produced by Adam Sandler, Jack Giaraputo, and Alan Covert.
And Nick Swardson and David Dorfman and a bunch of other friends of Adam Sandler. Bucky Larson, Born to be a Star.
If you're considering seeing this movie, do yourself a favor. Take the money you are going to spend on it and wipe your ass with it instead. That way,
it will have been put to better use. Scott Nash, 3moviebuffs.com.
With a near record 12 nominations.
Making it only the 4th film in our 32-year history
to receive more nominations than we have categories.
Also from Sony Columbia Pictures and Happy Madison Productions.
Produced by Adam Sandler, Jack Giaraputo, and Todd Garner, Jack and Jill.
The apocalypse
starts here. Tom Long, Detroit News.
With a grand total of 5 Razzie nominations.
Released by Warner Brothers and New Line Cinema.
And produced by Mike Cars, Wayne Rice, and Gary Marshall. New Year's Eve.
The cinematic equivalent of the worst kind of woman's magazine. All style
and no substance.
James Crute, Flicks.com.
Next, with 9 nominations in total.
From Paramount Pictures.
In association with Hasbro Special Projects.
Produced by Don Murphy, Tom DeSanto.
And Ian Bryce and Lorenzo Di Bonaventura. Transformers 3, Dark Up Your Moon.
The world's loudest and longest toy commercial. A $190 million version of a kid grabbing 2 toys and smashing together.
Margot Harrison, 7days.com.
And the 5th and final nominee for Worst Picture.
With 8 shots at spray-painted gold.
A Summit Entertainment release.
Produced by Wick Godfrey, Karen Rosenfeld,
and Stephanie Meyer. Twilight Saga 4, Audience 0.
Prostituting itself. The film flirts with being teen porn, then plummets into low camp.
Jim Lane, Sacramento News Review.
And that concludes our press conference.
For complete coverage of this year's Razzie nominations,
you can visit RottenTomatoes.com,
GoldDerby.com,
or better yet,
the official Razzie website, Razzies.com.
Check out the Razzie YouTube channel.
Follow us on Twitter.
Or friend us at Razzie Awards.
All one word, on Facebook. And now we invite members of the press to please join us for a Q&A session in the anteroom to your left, where press releases will be available.
And we invite all of you to keep your eyes, ears,
and other sensory organs
peeled to find out this year's winners.
Set to be announced on Sunday, April 1st,
April Fool's Day. Da 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 da.